Gain insights into their thoughts and dreams in A Few Good Men. They are Singaporeans on a life-changing journey back to their roots, uncover their rich history, and follow them on the road home. They are luminaries of past eras who have brought honour to the Republic. Be inspired by their passion, triumphs, and fighting spirit. The people who make us proud. Get their stories this August on Channel News Asia.
As electronic entertainment becomes more interactive, people are increasingly empowered to participate in the games they play. Such is the state of the technology today, spawning machines that offer gateways to hours of fun and fantasy. Hello everyone, I'm Timothy Go, and this is the season's final episode of That's IT. Did I hear you say, it's okay, we'll be back in a few months, we just need a little break. This week, we're not just going to look at the technology that goes into gaming, but we're also going to have a look at fun in cyberspace because it's become some sort of a formidable presence in our lives. As more people are drawn to gaming in cyber territory, the popularity it generates means big business for the gaming market.
Research firm IDC estimated that Singapore online game market is about $8 million US in 2006 and has a growth potential of reaching 9.7 in 2007.
The gaming market in Singapore is growing. It is in comparison to countries like Korea, which probably has the most mature gaming industry in the world, and the US. We were probably quite, I wouldn't say far behind, but we are definitely further back behind them, but we are probably the leaders within the Southeast Asia region.
And this is probably why Singapore has been chosen as the venue for this year's World Cyber Games Tournament.
Singapore has the proper infrastructure, good, excellent venue facilities, and especially we're trying to attract visitors and spectators from the region, from places within Southeast Asia or even from China or Korea.
If cyber gaming is becoming more popular, could fun in virtual reality replace home entertainment as we know?
I wouldn't say so much overtaking. I think it's more of a convergence. As media such as radio or CDs or TV become more digitized and get on a digital format, it makes sense for all of that format to be available to an end user in an easy and central location. It's becoming kind of a mainstream entertainment media together with things like your TV and like your radio. It becomes part and parcel of the youth culture now that it's one of the activities that this youth looks out to do. And in the long run, it will be a norm.
Well, as you can see, I'm pretty bad at this, but as gaming becomes more accessible, there are plenty of opportunities for people to become exceptionally skilled at what they do. Except for me.
Okay, the game has started. Well, basically, Dota is a 5-on-5 game, and each player controls one avatar, actually, one character. And basically, your objective is to destroy each side's main primary building. This right here is the Frozen Throne. That's the
18-year-old Samuel plays in a team of avid gamers who are pretty serious about their sport.
So I'm going to pick a hero right now. Let's say I'm going to pick this Bean element. With things like chess, things like billiards, pool, being recognized as sports. I do not see why cyber gaming shouldn't be recognized as a sport. I mean, it requires training. There are competitions. There's fame and glory associated with winning, and of course the game is challenging. It requires teamwork, just like soccer or any other team sport. And last of all, I mean, now that with a lot more platforms to push your gaming to a more professional level. For example, my team is sponsored by HP and AMD, and this has given us more opportunities to take part not only locally but overseas, and of course, to take the whole gaming thing more seriously.
Samuel is a junior college student, but he's perfectly capable of balancing his schoolwork and gaming.
If it's during an off-season period, so to say, when we have no competitions, we would mostly train individually at home when we come home at night. But of course, when you're talking about a period like this, when the World Cyber Games is coming up, or any other competition for that matter, we would get together definitely in the week before the competition. We definitely have to get down at a LAN center like this and actually play next to each other.
His ability to manage time has enabled him to discover certain positive aspects of gaming.
Cyber gaming, at the basic level, increases your thinking ability, your reaction times. These are quite useful. Even if you're playing sports, say ping pong, things like this where reaction time really counts for a lot. And we're looking at it from a different perspective. Maybe it also teaches you to really accommodate to many different kinds of people, because in the online world you meet many different people, different cultures, and perhaps from different backgrounds as you. And even though you're not conversing with them in real life, you still get an insight into how their lives are like, how perhaps their culture is like, and in that you are more exposed to different cultures, and you are better able to deal with different kinds of people.
And of course, being in a team means working together toward a common goal.
When you're in competitive gaming, especially in a team game like Dota, you actually have teammates, and you learn things like cooperation, teamwork, and of course, that's really what matters, when it comes to a high-level competitive game, and that's how you win first place all the time. So other things you learn also is, of course, dealing with your teammates. Many of us have different personalities, and sometimes it's the different personalities that complement each other. And going through being with this team for about 2 years now, I've really learned to understand my teammates, understand how they play, understand how they are.
Judging from the silverware Samuel and his team have won, things seem to be paying off. Samuel is not only talented, but his ability to lead a team to competition victories is probably something the gaming industry is looking for. So when we return, we'll have a look at training opportunities for aspiring professionals in the emerging gaming industry.
Age is a state of mind.
I don't have negative thoughts.
She's 110. He's 82.
Where you want to go, sir?
She's 81.
I will sign OPWA after my name, which means old person with attitude.
Living life with vigor. They are the new old. Thursday at 8:30 p.m.
From the controversial film Perempuan Istri Dan, acclaimed director Uwe provides his Midas touch to our highly weighted local drama, Rahsia Perkawinan.
He analyzed every single thing. Passionate. His imagination is wild.
Joined by Sanif Oleg, a young and upcoming director in the local scene. What surprises do they have for the viewers?
Aesthetically, it must be alive. That's what I'm trying to do.
Catch Rahsia Perkawinan every Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. only on Surya.
Saturday on Japan Hour. Japan Hour, Saturday at 7:30 p.m. and Sunday at 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. Japan Hour is brought to you by Sumitomo Corporation, ANA All Nippon Airways, Best Denki, Daikin, Fanco, NEC, Nikkei, Pilot Pin, and UOB Travel Planners. This is Channel News Asia.
Talk to me.
Now, for those of you thinking of having a career in gaming, might I suggest taking a few lessons from the experts first? How do I start?
Well, I guess I could start by checking out what a Polytechnic has to offer.
Currently, we have two main programs that offer games-related teachings. One is digital media design, where we teach students to become games designers if they want to become a professional in games related field. Another one is digital entertainment technology, where we train students to become games programmers.
And besides the diploma, what else can students look forward to?
When they graduate, they can take up the role of games designers, games artists, concept designers, or technical direction, where they can do technical solvings, problem solvings for games or even movie, TV-related industries. And of course, for the people who are keen to go into the technology side of the business, they can become games programmers.
Oh, that's interesting. But are these the only career options available in gaming?
Career opportunity range from game-centric, like being a game master, customer service, who has got immediate contact with the gamers, to the back end of IT department that set up the application, the payment gateway, and the infrastructure. I mean, set up the server farm to operate the game.
Now, what about those who aspire to become a star in the gaming world?
There are tournaments that are held, especially in places like Korea, where people can reach the state of like an idol state, like American Idol state, where people will worship you.
Behind just being competitive, that you play game as a job, and being the very top few, like I said, there's only the top few characters, all right? The top few candidates. The rest, maybe if your finger is not as fast as the top few guys, so you can always venture into other aspects of the game industry.
The question is how many of them? Out of maybe hundreds or even thousands, there could be only one or two people who can do that. But if you compare that to a proper professional career like a software engineer, for example, when we train people to become games programmers, for example, or games designers, there could be in the hundreds.
Though everyone can game, except for me, of course, not everyone can game competitively. And among the competitors, not everyone can make a living out of it. But there are some who manage to turn their hobby into a career.
By day, Wilson works as a game master at Infocom Asia Holdings. This soft-spoken 26-year-old patrols cyberspace, ensuring that gaming protocols are observed.
This Granado Espada, you can create characters here, and there are a lot of classes like Fighter, Wizard, Scout, Musketeer, Elementalist. There are also a lot of other NPCs that you can use. And here we can find the
Wilson is a highly proficient gamer, and he competes in events like the World Cyber Games Tournament. So how does he manage gaming and working?
I actually practice around 3 hours a day, daily. And usually on weekends, I try to put in more hours, like 4 to 5 hours. But 3 hours is my standard average time of gaming.
After work, Wilson may stay back either to game on his computer or chill out with colleagues on the Xbox. As a serious gamer and game master, Wilson draws a line between casual and competitive gaming.
Casual gaming will be more like playing with your friends as a pastime and having fun, more towards as a hobby. Whereas when you play for competitive gaming, you'll be more like trying to make yourself better.
Favorite games are probably racing games and sports games, particularly racing. So like Project Gotham Racing, where you race on the streets. You get to live the fantasy of some of your like sports games, racing games. You get to experience, because nowadays games are pretty realistic, so you get to experience like racing on the streets without actually putting yourself at risk.
And just like Wilson, Richard holds a day job, and he games competitively.
Gaming puts you in touch with computers, in touch with electronics, IT. So it is a good start to have for people to gain an interest into this area. The other aspect will also be it's good for sharpening your mind. And gaming involves, especially competitive gaming, involves being quick thinking and able to identify patterns, to execute those patterns correctly in terms of the game movements. So that, in a sense, trains your minds to think quicker, to react quicker.
Unlike a game master, Richard is a family man, and he works in a bank. So how can he manage?
Basically, it's time management and setting priorities. Obviously, for me, gaming is not everything, so setting priorities is very important. And good time management. Okay, basically this website is xboxgamezone.com. How it started off is when I started off on the Xbox, it was quite hard to find fellow Singaporeans to get online with. And most of the time you'll be playing with Westerners. So I created this site to actually connect gamers, connect Singaporean gamers on the Xbox. What they'll do is they'll come to this site and get to know other people, chat on the forums, to talk about the latest games, as well as organize events on Xbox, or the Xbox Live platform.
While gaming does have its draw of challenges and thrills, the very engaging nature of gaming does have its dark side. So when we return, we'll have a look at the dangers that could possibly be lurking behind cyberspace.
3 is better than 1. Watch, surf, talk with HubStation. Surf broadband for free. Record and control live TV.
Next on Gillette World Sport. It's unlucky for some at the 13th edition of the Summer X Games. The fastest rally of the season gets underway in Finland.
And we meet Mexico's Queen of the Greens, Lorena Ocampo. All this and more on Gillette World Sport, Friday at 8:30 p.m. on Channel News Asia. Next on High Seas Billionaire Dreams. They've found the perfect yacht, but now what?
We're on holiday. We're escaping from the day-to-day life.
Enter their worlds and find out how our 3 billionaire boaters spend their days on board. Billionaire Dreams, Part 2 on Saturday at 9:30 p.m. on Channel News Asia. The High Seas is brought to you by 1 Degree 15 Marina Club.
Intense clarity. High definition impact. Plasma and LCD TVs. Hitachi.
Talk to me.
Gaming is all about making money and having lots of fun, but just when you think it's safe to play, think again.
The dangers of cyber gaming will be same as every other sport. It will be towards obsession.
I think the dangers of gaming are probably when you're one physical aspects, when you spend too much time in front of a computer or in front of a screen. So that's taking it a bit to the extreme.
My concern towards cyber gaming is whether my children can strike a fine balance between their studies and gaming. It's something that parents are usually quite afraid that our children cannot have this balance, and it may adversely affect their studies.
I think one of the most prominent dangers that is really being discussed these days is addiction. And I do believe that is a real threat, especially with very time-consuming, addictive games, especially massive multiplayer online role-playing games, MMORPGs, and those really take up a lot of time, and they really suck you into a virtual world.
I believe that definitely there are positive and negative impact on any gamer that plays game. But like any other activity, like gambling or even so-called excessive doing of any particular activity could lead to addiction, just like gaming. But this actually is part and parcel of any other activities or any other media out there. For example, TV, magazines that has violence involved. So I mean, gaming is just like any other widespread media right now.
So, how are we going to deal with the negative effects?
Basically, I would look at that it is a form of sport, and before I can get them to go any further, I will have a heart-to-heart talk with them, telling them of the dangers that they will face on the web, and basically with that in mind, we also have to set some boundaries so that they will not go overboard, and so that they can also focus on their studies as they play gaming, whether at home or at cyber cafes.
What I believe is that these games are still for relaxing, and one must actually recognize that there is a time to spend for social purposes, with your family, with friends, time to spend on study, time to spend on work, and of course time to spend relaxing on gaming. So one must know the lines, how far one must go in relaxing himself before it becomes addiction.
Adequate self-control is something easier said than actually accomplished. And because the dangers are real, the authorities are stepping in.
NYC commissioned Touch Youth Limited to conduct a series of youth workshops on cyber wellness. These workshops aim to equip young youth gamers on skills as well as positive gaming habits so that they can enjoy the virtual experience as well as not neglecting the real-world demands, such as friends, families, as well as work and studies.
We have a major public education program known as Media Action. The aim of Media Action is to inspire and encourage the public to use media in a responsible way, whether it is for work, for learning, or for play. And the outreach is to the public, but mainly to the young people, to the youth. The whole idea here is to help young people make discerning choices when it comes to games and internet.
Well, I could say nothing beats awareness from the authorities, but in this age of uncertainty, you'll never know.
And what I'd like to know is, why the support for something that carries a potential social problem?
We're trying to position Singapore as a gaming hub to attract companies, gaming companies, game developers, content creators, interactive digital media players to come into Singapore.
For game making, this is where we take an industry development perspective because a lot of economic spin-off from there. For example, international games companies setting up here in Singapore, creating jobs.
It's the world's largest video games festival. And the purpose of the WCG is a youth festival that brings young people together with a common passion, that's gaming.
Looks like unless I'm going to be paralyzed by fear, I might as well join the carnival to get a better idea about this gaming craze. Who knows, I might even unleash the gamer in me, so here goes. I'm told this game is called Dota, Defense of the Ancient. I think my job is pretty simple. Stay alive and kill as many enemies as I can.